In this video, we are going to factor quadratic equations. So let's just jump into it without further ado. So the first problem we have right now is x squared minus 9x plus 14 equals 0. So what we want to do is factor this equation, and we want to get the answer by solving for x. So let's do it. So first of all, as you can see, you guys see the x squared and you guys see the 14, right? So you multiply 14 and the x squared. 14 times x squared. So think of the x as a 1. If it's like just x, think of it as 1. Alright? So 14 times 1 is 14. So I suggest you to write 14. And then I want you to factor it. So, what times what equals 14 that it adds up to negative 9? So, for it to make sense, I'm going to explain it to you guys. So let's do negative 7 times negative 2. So negative 7 times negative 2 is 14. If we multiply that, that equals 14. But then you guys are like, why are you doing negative 7 times negative 2? You could just do 7 times 2, which is 14. But at the same time, when we multiply these two, we also want it to add up to negative 9. Do you guys? Alright. So we're multiplying these two, right? And that equals 14. If we add negative 7 and negative 2, that makes negative 9. So we want this to multiply to 14, but at the same time, we want it to add to negative 9, because that's a part of the equation. So let me erase those marks quickly. Alright, so now let's get into the next step. So what you do is just write the same equation but differently. So you write x squared minus 7x minus 2x plus 14. So what we wrote was the same thing, but instead of writing negative 9, we wrote negative 7 and negative 2, because negative 7 plus negative 2 is negative 9. So we just write this instead. And why are we doing this? This is just a way to solve for x in a quadratic equation. So now what we're doing is separating the equation. So since you guys are beginners, I am going to separate the equation like this for you guys. So we're going to separate the equation just like that. Alright, so now that the equation is separated, we can do this. Alright, so now we need to write it in this way. So x times x minus 7. We're just simplifying the equation. This is nothing hard. What we're doing is just simplifying the equation. So x times x minus 7. See, you see the first equation that I underlined? You see this? I simplified this equation into x times x minus 7. See, x times x is x squared. X times negative 7 is negative 7x. I just simplified the equation. Now what we do is simplify this equation. So let's do it. Or not equation, we call it an expression. Alright, so now what we can do is negative 2 times x minus... Alright, let me erase this for you guys, because I don't think that you need this. So let me just erase this. Okay, so what we're doing is negative 2 times x minus 7. And just to check if you did this right, this thing inside the parentheses needs to be the same as this thing. See, this is x minus 7, and this is also x minus 7. So I'm going to tell you how I just simplified this. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 7 is 14. Now, what we need to do is we take x minus 7 from these parentheses. We just write x minus 7 equals 0. And then we also need to write one more equation. I'll show you what we need to write. Then we need to write x minus 2. Now, first what we did is we wrote what was inside the parentheses. Now we write what's outside the parentheses. So x minus 2. So x minus 2 equals 0. And then we need to solve for x. So to solve for x, we can just add 7. And then we add 7 there. And then we get x equals 7. And then we get, so then we do the same thing here. We add 2 here. And then we obviously add 2 there. And this gets canceled. And 2, so 0 plus 2 is 2. And then x equals 2. And also this gets canceled, as you know. So x equals 7 and x equals 2. So we officially solved for x.